Let's start with talking about road trips. And we've got this Instagram photo from Kelly Stickles. Her dog, Blue, drools all over her car. What can owners do if you have a car-sick dog?
Yeah, well, drooling can be car sickness or it can be just nerves. So if it's car sickness and your dog's throwing up, go to the veterinarian to begin with. And if it's nerves, there are various things you can do. I love this. The iCalm dog, and what it does, it plays very calming music. We call it bioacoustic music that calms the dog's nervous system, calms a dog down.
So speaking of the car, where is it safe for your dog to travel? I have a station wagon, so my dog travels all the way in the back. I know that there's these doggy seat belts. What works best?
There are. If you're going to use a doggy seat belt, make sure it's a harness that connects into the seat belt of the car, or a crate that is safely in your car, in the back of your car. Please don't let your dog ride in the front, because if you stop even at 30 miles an hour, your dog can go through the windscreen.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually really good advice, not to have your dog travel in the front. Yeah.
Sometimes they jump back and forth, though, and you can't. It's hard to control that.
That's why it's really important to restrain them. So if your dog doesn't like a harness, put them in a crate.
Okay, but you're not always going to be traveling by car. Sometimes you're going to be flying somewhere. A lot of people get really worried. I know I've been worried about this before. Your dog getting mistreated by the airlines. What are you supposed to do in that situation?
Oh, you know, if you can avoid it, don't fly with your dog. If you've got a smaller dog and the dog can fly in the cabin with you, then great. But always check with your airline, check the policies that they have, and try and make that travel, if you have to, as easy as possible. But go by car if you can.
Well, how do you outfit the crate if you are putting your dog underneath and checking him into the airplane?
Well, again, every airline has different guidelines, but I like to put a blanket or some newspaper, because the dog might have to go, depending on how long the flight is. Some water. Now, some people say, is it okay to sedate your dogs?
Yes.
Some people will, some people won't. But again, check with your veterinarian.
Okay.
But one of the things I always wonder, like, you know, if you have a kid, you always, if you're a mom, you've got diapers, you've got the wipes ready to go. What's in your bag of essentials that you need if you're traveling with your dog?
I have the same thing. I have the wipes. I think that's really important. I have a water bottle. I have a few treats. I have maybe an object of my clothing that I can give to the dog while the dog's lying down, so that scent is very close. Anything to calm. I take this along with me as well. Anything to calm the dog down and just make it as stress-free as possible.
I know that there's certain breeds that can't necessarily fly, right? Snub-nosed dogs, pug-nosed dogs. Why is that?
Yeah, well, you know, their breathing is compromised anyway because of the makeup of their noses. And it just being up in that pressurized cabin can sometimes cause these short-nosed dogs to have breathing issues. So if you've got one of these breeds, a lot of airlines won't accept them. I would say, again, drive. Please don't fly.
And Daisy just decided to leave. Bye, Daisy. Maybe she's traveling somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously this weekend is Valentine's Day. What do we do on Valentine's Day? We eat tons of chocolate.
Oh, we do.
I love chocolate. But, like, what if the dog gets into chocolate? Chocolate's not good for dogs. What do you do?
It's not. Take your dog to the veterinarian. Doesn't matter if it's emergency vet, it's on a Sunday, please take your dog to the veterinarian, because chocolate has this chemical called theobromine, and that is really toxic to dogs. It can cause heart attacks, it can cause breathing issues. So whether your dog has got into dark chocolate, milk chocolate, baking chocolate, take him to the veterinarian.
Immediately.
Immediately.
Even if it's a small amount?
Even if it's a small amount, because you don't know how it's going to affect your dog. Obviously, if it's a smaller dog, a small amount is going to affect that dog even more. If it's a larger dog, maybe not so much, but I just don't take the chance. Chocolate is highly toxic.